Hey, what's up, you guys? My name is James Brown III, and I am an actor in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. Unfortunately, because of #KeepTheSecrets, I can't tell you which character I play, but that just means you have to come see the show, right? I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, but raised in Dana Point, California, which is in Orange County. It's like a cute little beach town on the coast. I love the beach, it's amazing. I was gonna say I miss the beach, but truthfully, I'm at the beach. Don't tell anyone. Anyway, so I'm at the beach down in Miami, and when I finish this video, I will actually be laying on the beach. My earliest memory of theater, of what I do, of acting, would be 4th grade. We had to do a school play, and we had to retell the story of Stone Soup, and I was the actor. I was the Indian, totally not PC. I was the Native American who carried the stone that would later go into the soup, and my pants fell down. Why? Because the stone was too heavy for my pants. So my first memory turns out might also be my earliest, most embarrassing moment. You get a 2-for-1 there. I also have memories of going to New York with my dad. Growing up, every year we'd take a trip to New York and see a Broadway play. And our first one we saw was Vanessa Williams in A Kiss of the Spider Woman. She was unbelievable. Show was unbelievable. And she definitely caught me in the spider web. Let's see, things that I do when I'm in a bad mood. Things that I do when I'm in a bad mood. 2 things. 1, go to the beach. I didn't come down here just because I was in a bad mood. I'm in a good mood. I came down here just because I wanted to go to the beach. But going to the beach will definitely get me out of a bad mood. And 2, going to the movies. I will do that like 3 or 4 times a week. I love the movies. I'll go by myself. It helps me escape to new places, as well as, you know, like work on my craft and invest in my craft and research my craft. I say craft one more time. Yeah, so I love the movies, I love the beach. They both are my happy places for sure. Hobbies, what hobbies do I have? Oh, my hobbies are fashion. I am the fashion editor of Chill Magazine, which is an urban men's magazine. Here well, it's in New York. You can find it up and down the East Coast, and we're expanding, you know, with every issue. But I produce, style, artistic direct all of our major style and fashion features. I also style clients, other fellow actors for the Tony Awards, for opening nights and concerts and big photo shoots. So anything fashion related, style related, I am all about it. So that would definitely be my biggest hobby that I have. Yeah, I like to knit, which I guess is still kind of fashion related. I love to CrossFit. I like the beach. What was it like learning the show so quickly and blending in with the cast? You know, I had an awesome process. Typically, like in a musical, you'd have, if you were a replacement, you'd learn the show in 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops, but usually 2 weeks. And you learn it in a studio with like the director and the dance captain, and then you'd be plugged into the show, you know, like the day before you'd go on or something like that. But because of how large this show is, how much magic is in the show, and the fact that it's a play, I couldn't rehearse in a studio by myself. I had to, with the director and the movement captain, I actually had to do the show, learn the show with a full cast, with the full crew, on stage, with all the magic. So I actually had about a 5-week process, which gave me tons of time to learn the show. It also gave me a lot of time to get to know the cast, and so it was a unique experience, but awesome. And they, you know, the powers that be definitely prepared me for the show, and the cast was so welcoming. So it was really nice, and I got the opportunity to do some like getaways with the cast on our days off and like social events and stuff. And so, you know, like I said, they really welcomed me and made me feel like a part of the cast. So I had a good experience. What's up, Elena? So Elena is asking the good questions. Elena wants any tips for young actors. I guess I have a few. I mean, the biggest thing for young actors is to continue to train and continue to learn everything you can about what we do and what you want to do. So that's taking class, acting class. If you are a singer and a dancer, continue to train in those disciplines, making sure you're reading tons and tons of plays, tons of scripts, and going to see plays, going to see films, watching, you know, your favorite television shows. All those things can kind of just help you along in your journey of growing. I also think that just being a kid and enjoying all your other passions, whether you like athletics or the sciences, literature, math, like all those, oddly enough, all those things at some point will come into play if you are a well-rounded individual. You know, I could go on and on about like the countless times that outside information experiences outside of theater have helped me either get roles or help me kind of find my way through a role. So yeah, so continue to train, continue to stay passionate about it, and just be like really hungry and be a sponge. What is my favorite thing about the cast? Oh man, this cast, they are truly like one of the best casts I've ever worked with. I tend to not be wildly social with my cast outside of the show, only because I just kind of want to be able to get out of the theater and like step away from the show. But this cast has found a way to pull that out of me, and I'm like out with them like 2 or 3 times a week. I go on like little excursions with them. So they're just a really cool social bunch. And we allow each other outside of the show to not think about the show. So we actually are real people talking about real life stuff that aren't at Hogwarts. But I also love that this cast is, it's like such an like eclectic bunch of, you know, different, you know, we've got some Brits, we've got some Irish men and women, you know, a bunch of Americans, different kind of education backgrounds, a huge age range from 12 to 60s. So it's really kind of, there's so much to be learned from them, and I'm loving every second of it. So, yeah. Without revealing any secrets, what is backstage like? I mean, in many ways, backstage is, excuse me, what is backstage like without revealing any secrets? In many ways, backstage is, at Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, is not so unlike most backstages, except that we have a huge backstage, which is much larger than most Broadway houses. And thankfully so, because we do have a massive set and a lot of magic, you know? So, you know, it's, for lack of a better word, it's magical backstage. But it truly is. It feels like we're living and breathing and walking through Hogwarts. And you know, it's so awesome. I don't know, you know, I have to say I have a really amazing group of friends who are all artists, directors, writers, choreographers, also actors. And they've been my core group of friends since I've lived in New York, so like 17 years. So now they're family, and I'm so inspired by them. I'm so inspired by their work. They are all working hard in their discipline, and I believe so truly in their talent and the product that they create. And so they truly inspire me. They push me, and I love being able to collaborate with them. I love being able to just kind of throw stuff at them and get feedback, and get their criticism. I love when they come see something and give me thoughts of my work. So yeah, I would definitely say my friends inspire me a lot. And then, you know, of course there are some major actors out there that also inspire me. The first person that comes to mind is Cate Blanchett. Man, that woman, she's like a force. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm inspired just by my community of actors and artists. How do I handle rejection, you know, that naturally comes with being an actor in this field? Man, that's a really good question, and I actually think that when you find the answer to it, your life as an actor will be a lot better. For me, I learned very, very early on to minimize the amount of rejection I got. And what I mean by that is I didn't go on every audition. There are some schools of thoughts that say go to every audition, especially when you're young and when you're just getting to the city. Go to every audition so you get the experience of auditioning. And while I do think it's important that you audition, because it is a skill, you should audition a lot, you should, but I think that it's more important to audition for things you truly want and things you're right for. That doesn't mean to say that you can't go against type, and sometimes producers and directors will cast against type. That's fantastic. That is not the majority of the time. So, know your type, going for things that you're right for, and going for things that you really, really want. So for me, I'm not gonna go in for something that they're looking for, short, Asian character actors. That's not me. So I'm going to minimize that no. That is still rejection. Even though I'm going in, I'm still putting in work, I'm still going to get a no, right? So I'm gonna minimize rejection in that way. I also had to come to a point where I realized that when it's a no, it's not personal. As long as I go in the room completely as prepared as I can be and fully give them James Brown III on that day, then when I don't get it, I now know that it's not personal. It's just I simply didn't have what they wanted. It's, you know, and it could be a myriad of reasons why, and you can go down like a spiral of trying to figure that out. But unless you can get feedback for it, let it go. You know, because you know, I could have walked in with this color top on, and the director happened to have like an ex-boyfriend who walked out of their life with this color on, and they have a sense memory of it, and my whole audition was tainted in them thinking about their ex-boyfriend. I would never know that. I can't help that, but those, you know, we're all human and those things happen. So don't take things personally. Just be prepared. Be yourself, your authentic self when you walk in the room, and let the rest be up to them. And then the third thing that I do, especially when I'm going in for vocal auditions, I voice memo myself. I'll just press record on my voice on like my iPhone, press press record, stick it in my pocket, and I record my vocal audition. I do it for a lot of reasons. Every singer, actor, when you audition, you come out of the room and you're like, yeah, that went pretty good. And you know, maybe you're the kind of person that calls your mom or your dad or your best friend or whatever, your boyfriend or girlfriend, you call them and you're like, yeah, that went really well. Yeah, no, it was okay. It was okay. There was like this, you know, this one like section, and I'm sure it was fine. And then by the end of the day, it was the worst audition you've ever had in your life. You just go through this whole thing you've been thinking about all day. And so by voice memoing it, by recording it, you get to walk out of the audition, listen to exactly what you did in the room, and then you can let it go because you know exactly what happened. You can say, yeah, I sound great, or no, that wasn't my best audition. You learn what you do when you're nervous. You learn what you do when you're not nervous, what you do when you are really prepared or when you're underprepared, when you know the team behind the table or you don't know the team. It helps you learn about different audition spaces. Some spaces are really hot, some spaces are really like dead. You can also even kind of keep track of pianists because you start to see the same like accompanists. And you're like, oh, they usually play fast, or they usually play slow, or his rhythm is a struggle, you know, whatever that is, or they know how to stay with me. So I just think it's a really good learning tool for yourself as an auditioner. And then when you do get the rejection, or you don't, or you get the role, you also can kind of start to see like, sometimes when my audition wasn't like perfect, but I really came into the room and told the story, I still got it. Or even though I sang that the best I've ever sang, I didn't get it. So, you know, there was nothing else I could do. So I think that's another way that helps me kind of deal with rejection and also hear the word no more often than not. What sustains me continuing to be an artist? Man, this crazy world that we live in. It feels like every day our world, this country gets crazier and crazier, and you feel the need more and more for art. You know, some of the most amazing periods of art have been born from crazy points in our history, like you know, the Harlem Renaissance, like the Renaissance itself. You know, so yeah, so I think because art is such an escape for most of mankind, escape from every day, there's a need for it to continue to be made, and that alone is enough to sustain it. But I think also there are so many roles that I still want to play, and there's so many stories I still want to tell and be a part of telling. There are so many stories that I don't even know yet that I want to create. And so it's exciting to know that I'm in a profession that I could literally do for the rest of my life. As long as I can like talk and move, I can tell stories. And even after that, it's debatable, right? So yeah, so until the world becomes perfect and all of the stories have been told, I'll keep telling them.